This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. If you don't know by now, Anchor is the easiest way to record your podcast and get it out to your listeners. Anchor allows for you to record from anywhere using your web-enabled device like computer or smartphone. It has built-in creation tools to make editing and presenting your episodes a breeze. And when you're finished, Anchor distributes your podcast for you so you can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many more podcast platforms. Anchor even allows you to make money from ads like this one, no matter the size of your audience. And the best part about it all is it's absolutely free. Anchor is the easiest way to start your podcast. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4 of the second Turnbuckle podcast. I am your co-host, the captain, and we're kicking off this one. Who am I with today?
It's me, the top rope J. I still need to change my my Twitter handle back to that.
Yes, you do, actually. And returning guest, Mr. Lesned. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Good to be back.
All right. And we have a guest star. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Oh, I'm not that special, trust me. I'm just kidding. No, welcome. Hello. My name is SockMonkeyMike. And you guys might know me from Twitter, Instagram, at SockMonkeyMike, YouTube. Or if you don't know who I am, you're basically living under a rock.
That's true.
I really don't do much. I just talk about wrestling and sports, and that's pretty much it.
All right. And like a good host, let's go through your background a little bit. But first, Mr. Lesned, what you been up to since the last time we recorded? Because last time we recorded, before last episode, it had been 2 years.
2 whole years.
Jesus.
Something's had to have happened with you in the last 2 years.
Year and a half ago, I started at FedEx, and I've been there now, year and a half to now. So yeah, been doing that, dealing with boxes and all, crazy stuff that go on in there.
Oh, do I ever know?
And just trying to avoid this whole Corona thing going on.
No, not the rope.
Not the yeah, I'm trying to avoid it like the plague.
That's true, man.
It's pretty much another plague anyway. So, yeah.
And of course, before we go any further, all 4 of us are practicing social distancing. We're all in our own homes, or in your case, Jay, you're in your car.
Yes, I'm in.
So we're abiding by all state and federal guidelines and staying safe. But enough with all that. SockMonkeyMike, my man. Well, who are you? You already said that you do stuff, but like, what do you do for a living? What are you going to school for? I know you personally, so I know these already, but for everybody else who doesn't know.
Okay.
Explain yourself.
So I appreciate that introduction. That was awesome. So basically, I'm just currently I'm a student in community college. This is my last semester. And then I'm transferring over to a university, which is nearby. It's a nearby university called Cal State San Bernardino.
Yeah, my sister-in-law goes there.
and then I'm pursuing a degree in sports broadcasting. That's something that I've always wanted to do since I was 11 years old. When I saw Vin Scully, who, for those who don't know, was a
legend.
Absolutely, I call him the greatest sports.
He's the best to ever do it
of all time.
100%.
Oh yeah, and then
I was crushed when he retired.
Oh yeah,
I knew it was coming, but anyway.
Yeah. So
my friend.
Yeah, no worries. What was I at? Oh yeah. So when I saw a game of his when I was 12 years old, I was just intrigued, and that's when I said, I literally told my college professor, or not my college professor, my college counselor, I was like, these are the classes I need, and this is the career I want to go to, this is the school I want to go to, and this is, kind of like a set path already.
Yeah.
And I've been pursuing that career ever since. It's not been an easy one. I've been kind of back and forth with grades over the years, some good, some bad. But I always say that it's always a process. Everything's a process, and you always should appreciate that process, but know that in the end you're going to have that good outcome that you are expecting. So yeah, so then that's kind of the career sports broadcasting, and it's kind of funny too because a lot of people think it's just professional wrestling that I'm aiming for, but that's not just the avenue. I mean, if professional wrestling does not work out, then there's always baseball, basketball, football, hockey. You
True.
know what I mean? There's different avenues.
Well, Vince Scully didn't just do baseball; he did some football games too.
Yeah,
back in the day.
actually the first game that he ever heard on the radio, because back when he was smaller, in I believe it was Catholic school, he listened to college football games on the radio, and he even said in an interview once with it was a round table actually with himself, Chick Hearn, and Bob Miller.
All big names in broadcasting world for anybody who doesn't know those names.
Yeah. And he said that it was because of the roar of the crowd, and this was coming from an 8-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Remember that? It was because of the roar of the crowd that touched a nerve, and that really inspired him to pursue that career. And then over 60 years later, he would become the voice of the Brooklyn Dodgers and then the Los Angeles Dodgers for so many years. And so that's what inspired me to pursue that career. And that's what I kind of identify myself with, is an aspiring sports broadcaster, And but my social media, I mean, I just try my best to my main goal really is to spread positivity, because I feel like that I always find other people happy that influences my happiness, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like if someone, like if I see something cool on Instagram, for example, like if people follow me on Instagram, which you should, at SockMonkeyMike.
Cheap plug.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we'll do the social media plugs at the end of the episode.
Okay. So,
we'll
but if you follow me
on
on Instagram, you know that I post a lot of stuff that I find cool. I don't have like a set schedule, and I've told people this. I don't have like a set schedule of posting certain things on my social media pages. But I just post what I find cool, and I'm just a regular guy. You know what I mean? Like it's not anything robotic or anything, but I just post what I find cool, and that's the cool thing with social media, especially with nowadays, where you could showcase basically anything that you're passionate about.
Yeah, anything, man. It's crazy. So SockMonkeyMike, Mr. Sports Broadcaster, Mr. Regular Guy.
Yeah.
Is that about a good sum up?
Yeah. To quote Denzel, Mr. Denzel, one time, it's just a rage of emotions.
That is true.
I would love to hear that in context.
All right, guys.
But not right now. I actually have a bone to pick before we get started.
What's your bone to pick?
Before we get started, Kirk knows about this.
Yo,
somebody tried to steal our podcast.
Oh yeah, man. We should definitely talk about that. It's been resolved, but yeah, why don't you discovered it, so you should tell this.
So I was sitting at my job, at my nice desk job with the free work internet, and I was doing some Googling, trying to make sure we're visible on Google and whatnot, because plays equal money.
Truth.
And there was another second Turnbuckle Wrestling podcast in front of ours who dropped their first episode on April 6th.
Yep.
And we had to do some confronting. I didn't want to do it because I was at work. I didn't want to get myself worked up.
Bruh, I laid down the law. I laid down. Yeah, so it was some network, some like Facebook group that had a couple hundred views on YouTube podcasts and stuff. And this one wasn't actually on YouTube; it was on something else. So I found their Facebook page that had all this connected. I posted on their page, and I messaged them, basically just saying like, "Hey, I have evidence that we made this name like 3 years ago. We're actively bringing our podcast back. you kind of stole our name. I just want to see if we can get this resolved. And then about like 18-ish hours later, they were like, oh crap, sorry. We had tried to look for this name. We looked for the name, couldn't find anything. We just used it. We'll take it back. And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty peaceful resolution. They changed the name, and we got to keep this one, which is what I really wanted. And you were like, let's come up with a backup name. And I was like screaming, I don't wanna. It took us forever to name this the first time. I don't want to.
Understandable.
Yeah.
So let's backtrack a bit. This is the second Turnbuckle podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
The second Turnbuckle is extremely important. We named it the second Turnbuckle because that's how people get to the top rope.
Yes.
Right.
We call it the most underrated podcast because the second Turnbuckle is the most underrated turnbuckle.
It is.
Didn't Bam Bam, or not Bam Bam, Vader, when he did the Vader bomb, he jumped off the second turnbuckle, right?
Second.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Every time.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was that. Let's jump into the news, my guys. So I'm gonna have Lesned kick it off because you've been paying attention to this more than I have. We'll start with Money in the Bank. So this year's Money in the Bank is really weird, obviously.
Yes.
They're having it at WWHQ, right?
Yes.
Yes, having a Titan Tower.
Okay. And so how is the match structured for people who don't know? And I'm gonna kick it to Lesned, let you talk for a while.
Well, from what I've seen, they said that it's supposed to start at the, like the ground floor, and you're supposed to work your way up. And then at that point, you would, get in the ring, set up a ladder, grab the briefcase, from what I can tell. And to be honest, that sounds really interesting and different because they've never done anything like that before. It's just, always been a standard ladder match, ladder spots, all that good stuff like that. So,
well, we're in uncharted waters
that's very true.
In the 21st century, in this whole pandemic thing. We haven't had anything this large ever.
No, not at all.
So you have to make the best out of what you can do. You can only have a certain amount of people in certain places.
Mm-hmm.
So you really have to make the best of your social distancing laws and what you have available.
Very true.
You just don't. They have like a 10+ story building in Connecticut that they can use to put on a pay-per-view. And I will say it's somewhat admirable to give us some sort of distraction from all the doom and gloom of being home, having nowhere to go. A lot of people not having access to employment because everything is shut down.
Yeah.
So we really have to see how well how well this opportunity goes for them. I know that the Boneyard was great.
Oh man, yes, loved it.
And the Wyatt, the Funhouse match was amazing.
Yeah.
Ooh, took me for a ride.
Already Impact has tried to jump on the more movie type matches. They had Callahan versus, why am I forgetting his name? Most Dangerous Man Alive, Ken Shamrock. That was I didn't watch the whole match because Ken Shamrock looks great, but his skin kind of creeps me out a little bit.
Oh, that's great.
Oh my lord, his skin creeps me out.
Just the way he did when he was in WWE. It's just his skin has aged.
Oh,
I gotta tell you, I love watching him versus what's the Gracie? What's his name? No, what's his name? He faced one of the Gracies at UFC 6.
I know the match. I just don't know the name.
Gracie won, but like that's the only time I'll look at Ken Shamrock because he's getting beat by a Gracie. Anyway, do we know who's in the match? Who's been confirmed? I know we have some matches confirmed, like we have Rollins and McIntyre. We have Braun and Bray. I know those, but do we have anybody in the actual Money in the Bank match that we know of?
I'll tell you who's not in the Money in the Bank match.
Sasha.
Kairi Sane.
Oh yeah, her too.
Oh, we'll get to that. We will get to that.
Yes, we will.
Well, Nia Jax is in because that was a qualifying match.
Asuka and Shayna and Dana are in, and as of
Okay.
last night, Lacey is in also.
Okay.
So can I just like jump to a conclusion and say everyone who lives in Florida is in?
Everyone who lives in Florida is in. What do you mean?
Everyone who can travel to the performance center and make a match is in.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I figured that's kind of how they have to do it at this point. Makes sense, you know.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, you've been quiet. What do you think of all this, my friend? If you're even still there.
Is he still there?
I don't know. We might skip him.
Mike is in and out like bad radio reception.
We got a guest star that is only here like half the time. It's all good.
Yeah.
Hey, we all got life stuff, man. Sometimes you just want to tune in and talk. It's all good.
We'll do it live.
All right. Well, then, do we want to talk about the Nia Jax stuff? Because it does bother me.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
they've been blasting her on Twitter lately, and
They should.
I'm just like, yeah, she deserves it for what she's done. And I've seen so many videos of like the people she's botched on, and I'm like, ooh, man, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem I have with Nia Jax is she's kind of like what Braun Strowman could have ended up like if you didn't put him around your studs, you know, like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan and Bray Wyatt. She has like a few matches on
In and out. All right, we got
NXT
it back.
television. He's back.
Wait, what
He has
happened?
a few matches on.
I
I don't
think
know.
you
left.
just DC'd, my man.
Dude, I think what had happened was, and this is probably my fault, was that so like I thought my microphone was working, and then all of a sudden like my phone glitched and it like kicked me out of Safari.
Shoot.
No.
Oh, okay,
that
okay.
sucks.
Yeah, my bad.
No
It's all
worries,
good,
bro.
dude. It's all
Did
good.
we actually still have the other one so we could just continue, or do we have to start from
No,
the
wait, it's the same one, my man. We're doing this live. We don't cut. We
Okay,
just
cool.
go with the flow.
Like Bill O'Reilly, we'll just do it live.
But you can't
Some
hear me,
of our
correct?
younger viewers will absolutely not know who the hell you were just talking about. You're operating
Find
at
the
a
meme.
different time.
Find the meme.
Anyway, Mike, we're on Nia Jax. We just started, so
Okay.
did you hear about Nia Jax and Kyrie saying what she did?
You know what? Like, okay, so I think that Nia Jax has to be the most like, okay, and people are probably gonna hate me for this.
No, dude, we're gonna blast her too. Fucking go.
No. Like, so.
Oh, I'm gonna.
So when she first debuted in NXT, she was the most overrated.
I agree.
Person in NXT at the time.
Honestly,
Absolutely.
yeah. True.
Okay, and then so when she made the main roster,
I'm gonna have to disagree with that because I don't remember the exact roster at the time.
So the exact roster at the time, if I remember correctly, because I think she debuted in 2015. I want to say.
Yeah, Bailey. The 4 Horsewomen were still around.
Yeah, Becky Lynch was still there. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. She did.
Asuka was
debuted when Bayley
incoming.
was
She wasn't quite there yet.
I think Summer Rae was still
who
there.
else? Summer Rae was still there.
Summer Rae was still there.
I don't remember the other women.
Now, I wouldn't call her overrated because if Asuka just started, I would have seen her as a little bit more overrated. But I will say she was called up way too quickly.
True. I agree on that.
In the sense of people having to earn it down in NXT, like either you have great matches or you win a championship. She didn't earn it. She just got called up.
And we're still talking about Nia, right?
Yeah.
You know, like whenever I hear the word "call up," right, or I mean the words, the phrase, whatever you like to call it,
right?
I think it's hard because like I've always considered NXT before, like after 2016. I want to say WWE's third brand. I've always said. So the what am I trying to say? The term "call up" is so like it seems more of a punishment now than it does a privilege, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I mean,
now.
yeah. I
Because like, look
agree
at Ty Dillinger. He was called up to the main roster, quotation marks, and then they ruined him.
on that. Man.
The Shinsuke Nakamura, he called up to the main roster, had a main event match at WrestleMania 34, and
Which was
That wasn't a main event match.
it wasn't the main event, but it was a main event.
Oh, okay.
It was a main event caliber match. I probably talked a lot of mess about it when I first saw it, but now in hindsight,
The
it was
match
actually
was good.
pretty decent.
You know what? Like, I
Nakamura
agree
should have
to
beat
disagree.
AJ 100%.
But yeah, so speaking about Nia Jax, I know I'm going off topic, but I think that currently at this state, Nia Jax, I'm not a fan.
I'm not
I'll
either.
be honest. I think that Nia Jax is like for a woman of her strength and her ability, she is very, very unique in a
Unsafe.
sense. But in terms of her match with Kairi Sane, I mean, like, that was brutal.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. They shouldn't have made Kairi Sane job the
I
way she did.
100% agree.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, I don't think, because you got to think about it. Kairi Sane was she was not only a former NXT Women's Champion, she did not only win that title at, I believe it was Evolution.
No, she won the title at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn.
Okay. And then
That's why
Come
we
on,
have you.
Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia.
so, and then not only that, but like, she was a part of a dominant, women's tag team title run, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then
The most dominant one we've had.
True.
yeah, so I don't know.
I agree.
Like,
having somebody who's returned after a year beat somebody who's had, like, in kayfabe, we'll talk in terms of kayfabe, a strong run, because maybe in terms of crowd perception it wasn't that fabulous, but wrestling fans are fickle anyway. So, God, that could be a podcast in and of itself. How pissed off I get at the internet wrestling community just in general.
They are so irritating.
Honestly, I'm
that
totally
might be
down.
the
I
next
could
one.
spout about my hatred for people
Man,
forever.
same.
Yeah.
Back to the point.
I don't
guys.
know.
Back to
Nia
my
Jax,
point.
it's just for somebody that's like you were saying, like, with that level of ability, and I think she sucks, but whatever. And that obvious level of strength that, like, you've got to be safer. Even if you have to take another second to set up the move, like, she's slow anyway. Nobody's going to notice that she's a second slower. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
Let's address the real issue here. Kairi Sane is probably going back to
yeah,
I can see that.
I wouldn't be shocked.
that she's probably going back to Japan. If you want to set up a split in the Kabuki Warriors, there's a better way to do it than just having Nia Jax come in and squash Kairi Sane. Like, I would have liked to see both of them go to Women's Money in the Bank.
That's where that is the kind of match where you
And
set
then
up.
there's a breakup.
If something goes wrong in that match, you set something
There's
up
a
there.
breakup
That's
there.
how you do it, not by. You're right, and it pisses me off.
I mean, look at Cody and Damian.
Yeah, that was bad. That was actually a good split, but I liked that Damian. I liked them together. I liked Road Scholar, so I didn't want them to go.
Oh, I didn't either.
But if you do that, you set yourself up with at least a month and a half worth of story in a time when we're kind of story strapped.
No, I agree with you. It's just it's a much better way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
But back to Jax, like the actual culprit in the issue. I think they just kind of called her up because she was big and she was kind of strong. Didn't everyone else in the women's division is like 150 pounds or less.
They needed a big presence.
Well, then get like Viper Niven or somebody. Like, I don't know. I don't like Nia Jax.
It also doesn't hurt that she's a cousin to The Rock.
Yeah.
So I mean, you get somebody who's green, who only had a few NXT matches, and you call her up, and you don't stick her with anybody. I mean, you did have like was it Team Bad?
Maybe no.
No, that was Tamina.
Naomi,
Tamina was in Team
and
Bad.
yeah,
Sasha.
Okay, she was on one of what's the welcoming committee?
No,
I don't know.
no.
But you don't stick her with.
No, I was.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I think she was somebody's heavy for a minute, but she should have rode with someone. She should have worked with someone.
Yeah.
Well, she did work with Alexa Bliss for a while.
Yeah, but
and,
that was too.
Alexa,
she was already hurting
anybody
people.
who's Alexa Bliss, anything Alexa Bliss touches just turns to gold because she's that good. Like,
I mean, yeah, look at Nikki Cross right now.
Nikki Cross.
I've always loved Nikki Cross.
But if you think about it, like these guys take these matches everywhere. I remember about a year after Luke Harper versus Dolph Ziggler main event or semi-main event of the pay-per-view with the Intercontinental Ladder match. I saw it
TLC
in LA.
2014.
I saw it in LA at the end of the year. So they literally run these matches everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put Nia Jax with somebody and they're working with them night after night after night, they get less dangerous and learn how to work. What she did to Kairi Sane kind of reminded me of New Jack.
Oh, that's why.
I
see why you said what you said on the chat.
Yeah, it was very New Jack-esque. Like I think she would have fit well in the older WWE, where my spot is my spot, and if you take time off, you lose your spot.
Okay. Yeah, true.
But we're in a new place now. We're not wrestlers aren't doing steroids and drugs anymore. They're playing video games and opening action figures on YouTube. You have to be safe.
Oh, what? Too soon?
Right.
Oh. Too soon.
I'm just here to ruin the fun.
Too soon.
All right. I'm good to be done talking about Nia Jax.
Yeah.
You didn't. You have like 2 minutes to go ahead and take your rage out on Nia Jax.
Oh my god, she pisses me off.
Come on.
I get the Seth Rollins thing, right? When he injured Sting, like that one was an accident. Sting is like 40,000 years. I know he's not actually 40,000, but he moved like he was 40,000 years old.
I think he was like 48. Uh-oh, Kurt's getting lost in the Matrix.
He looked like he was crawling at a snail's pace. God. Oh, it was is that me?
Yeah, you kind of had a Matrix.
You sound like a robot.
I was so angry. I was so angry.
There was a glitch
that my internet was just like, oh God, stop! It's too mad. I know the argument with Seth Rollins, and there is validity to it in that at that time Seth Rollins was dangerous.
I mean, he injured John Cena. You saw what he did to his nose.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he's grown past it. Maybe Nia Jax will grow past it, and I'll hate her less. But I'll let somebody else go. I'll fix my issues.
So I can't even compare Nia Jax to a Seth Rollins. In wrestling, people get hurt.
It's not ballet, like they always say.
It's not a pillow fight. If someone says I'm not ready, and you throw them anyway,
that's being negligent.
That's different. Yeah, that's different than an actual accident. I do believe Seth Rollins was involved in 2 actual accidents.
Yeah, true.
But Nia Jax said, "I just don't give a fuck tonight."
Man, she just didn't care. She was like, "And whatever." She's like, "If she dies, she dies."
She died. We're awful people, but it looked so bad, man.
And it didn't hurt that there was no crowd there, so there was an audible
we
scream.
heard all of that. We heard all of it. I was like, "Oh, no!" I was like, "See, you can't even say, oh, I didn't hear her."
No, like, there is no out.
I mean, Nia breaking Becky's face, I think that was the best thing that happened to Becky, though. I mean, look what it led to.
Don't dare you.
Yeah, I forgot that was Nia, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
That was Nia.
I forgot about that, to be honest with you, because then Becky turned it into
remind me.
an amazing run for like a year and a half.
Yeah, she's kind of.
That's why I wanted Shayna to win.
I need to see a heel, man.
True.
I mean, maybe. I mean, you stick Nia Jax with Becky Lynch at this point.
That might be hard to do.
I can see that. Well,
you know what? You know what else is hard to do? Running wrestling pandemic. So I don't want any excuses anymore.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to touch on this weird Velveteen Dream thing?
Oh God, no!
Oh God, not the dream.
I think we need to. I think we need to give Velveteen Dream that whole situation a little time to breathe before we talk about it. Maybe we'll do that next week,
and then maybe next week we'll elaborate on it as more things come out. Because I don't know if has anything else come out.
From what I saw on Twitter this morning, some people are saying that it was somebody racist online saying something to Velveteen Dream, trying to say that he did it or something like that. Like, I'm not exactly clear on the whole thing.
For people who don't, go ahead.
Apparently, that it was fake,
or whoever was talking.
Wait, what?
somebody was talking.
Wait, what?
No, that was Denzel.
Oh, go ahead.
Then
Okay. But yeah, apparently, it's fake, but we have to really see what's gonna happen with this whole thing before we can, have
so we'll introduce what seems to have happened. With what we best know now, Velveteen Dream was involved in some kind of Twitter thing where it seems like an image of himself, a provocative image of himself, was sent to a minor, or at least that's what I got from it.
Let's it's a dick pic, okay?
I mean, it is, but
you're not wrong.
Yeah. I don't know if he actually did it or not. He's gone on Twitter and actively denied that he's done it. We just have to wait for more facts to come out about it, honestly. That's all I really want to say about it.
And we have to see if they take his push away.
First of all, I don't think it's real, because I don't know any grown man who is on Twitter that doesn't have their Twitter set in dark mode.
That's true.
Wow.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's such a weird situation.
We have to watch this carefully. Honestly, I think no matter what happens, we're going to see a lot less
at
of
least
they
want to put some distance.
Yeah, I feel like they might take his push away.
Yeah, they want to put some distance between the bad PR and his image being around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for it to blow over.
I think Velveteen Dream did what he could do in this situation. I think he went to someone in WWE and said, "Hey, I did not do this. Like, this was not me. Can you help me?"
Like, I've seen stuff with it, right? So I've seen more like evidence, I would say. And there's a tweet out there. I don't know if you guys seen this as well, where the person accusing that it's Velveteen showed a screen recording of the DMs of Velveteen's, what seems to be Velveteen's voice, saying, "What school do you go to?"
Ooh. Okay.
Right, I heard about that too, but a lot of people were saying that wasn't actually his voice; that somebody doctored it to sound like.
Like I said, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
All I saw was what I saw.
So this story is not over by any stretch.
Oh no!
So with my background in just audio editing, there's not much you can do to make somebody's voice sound like somebody else's voice. You can make it not sound like your voice, but all that can be removed.
Gotcha.
So you can't change someone's voice.
So if I said something and I wanted it to sound like you, that would be either difficult or impossible.
Extremely difficult.
Okay.
Like let's take so when Aaliyah passed away, she was in the middle of recording a movie called Queen of the Dam. So what they did was, if I'm not mistaken, they got her brother to help finish up some of her vocal work because she knew how she spoke, or he knew how she spoke, and he could mimic her sister.
Okay, got it. I didn't know that.
But I don't think you would be
you
able
speak
to
an
mimic
entirely
me.
different mannerisms, and your voice is deeper than mine. You have a different timbre, so yeah. So
Right,
possible, but highly unlikely. Okay,
highly unlikely.
that's interesting. Again, I don't want to cast any judgments because we still don't know facts. All of this is speculation.
We don't know everything.
But yeah, that's an interesting point. Thanks for bringing that up. That's a really good point.
But
thank you.
No, but he did learn a little bit from the Enzo Amore book of getting fired for similar situations, because he really got fired because he didn't say
I mean, what it was. Also, Enzo was a problem backstage anyway. They were probably looking for an excuse to get rid of him at that point.
Yeah,
I think they had it up to here with Enzo, and then they found out through like Twitter that he had
that situation, and they were like, "All right,
so you can
gotcha." Didn't Vince like fire him personally? You know how bad you have to mess up for Vince to leave his office and go, "Get the hell out of my company"? He doesn't actually fire people.
Give me my title back.
You know, he calls people.
You know, he doesn't call people. Usually, you get a call from a raspy voice, Johnny Ace.
Wow,
gotcha.
John.
Well, I heard Mark.
Well, yeah, but that's just because he's talent relations.
Well, I don't think I'm not sure if Ace is with the company anymore, but all the stories I hear of people getting fired, like pre-2015, is Johnny Ace.
Right. So, I mean, CM Punk had a whole segment on Raw a few years back about that whole thing too.
People have been bringing that up in light of the releases. That was kind of fun.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I was just like, wow.
All right. Well, those are the three things that I wanted to talk about. So I'm good on my end. If y'all want to introduce anything else for like 5 minutes, and then we can wrap this up.
Yeah, so we have a little bit more than 5 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, looks about right.
But I do want to touch on this Drake Maverick situation.
Oh yes, yeah.
Because so what it looks like now is they might still use him. I know his matches are pre-taped, but from what it's looking like, he got so much attention from his YouTube video, they might have said, "Hey, yeah, we might keep you."
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I hope so.
Because he's currently in this round robin tournament. I don't know if you guys followed him before WWE,
well, he was
but his work is.
Impact. I followed him when he was on Stars, but yeah, I thought he was great.
With C3, no less.
Exactly.
But his work there, when he wasn't like a comedy guy, was pretty great.
True.
EC3, Rockstar Spud, Dixie Carter, and Bully Ray really carried my interest in that company for a long time.
Like when I started getting into Impact, well, when it was TNA at the time, they were the main ones I was looking at.
I was never into Impact.
Right.
Still not.
Yeah.
I gave it a try. It was good at the time.
So Drake Maverick lost his first round match to Drake Maverick lost his first round match to Jake
Very
Atlas.
impressive.
Great match.
He's a local guy. I've seen him wrestle a couple matches in the local promotion down in Wilmington, California. He was their light heavyweight champion for a while.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes. I was his first match. I was extremely impressed. He actually took on one of the Rascals. I don't know if you're familiar. I want to say not Dez. What? It doesn't matter. We took on one of the Rascals. It was supposed to be two of them, but one of them couldn't make it. Because card subject to change.
That happens.
It was an impressive match.
Okay.
I'll link it to you guys if I find it. It should. I think it's on. But very impressive. He actually came out a few years ago.
So newer guy.
So,
cool.
Newer guy. No, he came out a few years ago. So it's interesting to see how they're going to treat.
You said he's openly gay, right?
Yeah, it's interesting how they treat an openly gay wrestler on the WWE roster. Post your Darren Young.
Yeah. I don't know. If he's good, that he's treated fine. That's all you can really hope for, I suppose.
The match just got him.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my Lord. Go away. Notifications.
Oh, it's a notification.
I think that's what it is.
Oh.
Okay.
I tried turning them off, but apparently it didn't work. And
Right.
if I turn on Do Not Disturb, I'll cut this out. So.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to do that.
We're still learning here at the Second Turnbuckle podcast.
That's true.
Definitely.
Before we go, is there any matches that you guys want to highlight that you've seen this week, or little interesting bits before we wrap this up? Anything at all? Because I did retweet this on the Twitter page for this podcast at STPK2 or ST Podcast K2.
Mm-hmm.
I think it. I changed it.
Oh, did you?
It's the OG ST podcast.
Okay, that's right. I forgot you did that. All right, so
the only
OG
Second Turnbuckle podcast that matters.
I like that.
Yes, exactly. I put up a video of China wrestling against Jushin Thunder Liger in New Japan back in the early 2000s.
Huh.
That was a really cool thing to see. So if you guys in this haven't seen that, go find that because it's really cool.
Okay.
She moves like a cruiserweight, and she's like more feminine looking. She's not like super jacked like she was in the 90s in WWE with DX and all that.
Yeah.
So, or well, not with DX, but with with DX.
DX.
Yeah. Okay, I got that right the first. Sometimes I doubt my own like knowledge. I don't know why. It's like I remember these things, but then I have Lesned here, and I'm like, he knows a lot more than me, so I just turn it to him. But like I know things. But yeah, if you go to our Twitter page, find that. It's a really cool thing to watch. It's a couple minutes long.
Oh, I'll check it out.
I also checked out the clip that was shared on the Twitter page, the Mr. Perfect versus Brock Lesnar match.
Oh yeah,
that was cool. It was a dark match.
I have
that was pretty
like
great.
it's from any year or like recently.
Just anything you've seen in the last week that you think would be cool.
I'm gonna highlight this match. I seen it on NXT, and we talked about it right now. I think people have to go back at it. It has to be the match between Drake Maverick and Jake Atlas. I think that match was very. I think it's one of the most underrated matches from NXT this year, because you look at both Maverick and you look at Atlas. Atlas is the new guy. You know what I mean? Like he's making his. Yeah. I mean, of course, he had his television debut against Dexter Lumis the week before, but he's making his quote unquote like real like showcase debut. We haven't really seen much of him. We've only heard the theme song like once before, or I don't think we've heard it before. I don't know. But then you have Drake Maverick, who was recently released, and these are his last 3 matches, quote unquote. And I think they had a great exchange within each other. You really saw, because Maverick's a smaller guy compared to Atlas. I think Maverick's like 5'4", if I want to say 5'5". And then Atlas is like a good
he's
like
a small
5'11", I think. And you really see a contrast of styles. You see Maverick that's more ground and pound, not really a lot of high flying moves, and then you see Jake Atlas, who's more of a a ground grappler, but then he also does some high flying moves here and there. And then his finisher, dude, a cartwheel tornado DDT. That
It was beautiful.
One of the
to
most
see that.
beautiful
that's sick.
finishers I have seen in a while in professional wrestling. So I'd say go check that out.
Cartwheel DDT. I'm gonna have to find that.
I saw that match
because even trying to like visualize it in my head, it just doesn't sound like it should work.
Guys, I've seen it off the top rope.
What the hell?
Oh.
I have to show. That was the only match I've seen of him live.
Find that,
please.
And I'll retweet it on the if I can. I'll retweet it on the podcast Twitter.
That's a match I'll definitely highlight. Maybe I'll even go as far and say El Hijo Phantasma versus Jack Gallagher from the Cruiserweight tournament also.
King Quinn.
Like with that match in particular, it was weird because I thought Phantasma was playing the heel. Because because to me throughout the promos that we've seen, like the little promo packages, I thought that was the case, but apparently that's not. At least not for now. So definitely, I'd say check out those two matches from this past week. I would say something from AEW, but sadly, all we got was Luke Harper destroying someone, and then we got Wardlow F10ing someone.
Hey! It's
Brody Lee.
It's the Exalted One,
Brody Lee,
sir.
But again, Brody Lee just destroying someone, and then Wardlow taking someone to the hospital again.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I think I'm quite enjoying Wardlow.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, I like MJF more.
From a hangnail.
MJF has a hangnail. I saw that. He has a hangnail. I was like, what?
Ooh. Ow.
First it was a broken finger. Now it's a hangnail.
Oh, that's funny.
MJF cracks me up, man.
So just to piggyback on that, I love the work AEW is doing throughout this pandemic situation.
Yeah.
First, Chris Jericho. I've banned all fans from coming to any shows.
Yes.
And MJF, who probably doesn't live in the area and can't make it to live tapings, says, "Yeah, I think this is going to be career-changing injury."
That's funny. Oh my lord.
Kenny Omega had a really decent match.
True.
I did not watch AEW this week. I actually have to catch up. I've just realized like I have a month left of my AA degree program, so I'm trying to like get everything done with that.
I mean, yeah.
So
education
is a little bit on the back burner, but not much. I still got to pay attention enough for this.
You got a match?
Say it again.
Got a match
from this week?
Or just watch this week, because we know what you do when you go home, Denzel. You watch wrestling.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't think of anything, but I am looking forward to Keith Lee and Damian Priest this upcoming episode of NXT.
Dude, I saw that and I'm so stoked.
Damian Priest has really been fucking up Keith Lee with that fucking nightstick, and I'm just like, dude, baton nightstick. Yeah. I'm just like, Jesus, dude, like you're not a cop.
I just want to see Damian Priest get spirit bombed into oblivion. Yes. I really do. Because, like, if anybody can sell like he's just died, it would be Damian Priest.
I'm also looking forward to when they eventually do Io Shirai and Charlotte Flair on NXT. I'm looking forward to.
And we know
that's happening.
Well, whenever they decide to have Io face Charlotte, I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully Io beats her. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah.
I would have much rather Io beat Shayna.
Yeah, that should have happened. Honestly. That should have happened.
That's my opinion. Why would you need to bring Charlotte Flair down NXT?
Because they have nothing else for her.
Well, not saying down like that's a bad thing, but why bring her to NXT to make a prestigious championship more prestigious?
Right. I'm like, Rhea Ripley was doing just fine.
Well, that was the whole passport situation, so they kind of didn't have a choice. Like they wanted that match,
Right.
and I think they wanted Rhea to win, but as soon as her visa was up and she couldn't get back, they were like, "Well, I guess we have to give it to Charlotte
Damn.
now." They booked themselves into a corner. I
Okay,
think.
that's what it was.
The pandemic booked them
Yeah,
into a corner.
coronavirus changed a lot
That's
of
true.
things, man. It really did. I mean, WrestleMania wasn't supposed to be 2 nights, so you know.
But that's going to
I
be the norm
fucking
from now on.
hope
So
God, me too. All right, I've been in my recording place too long, so I got to get out. I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
let's take us out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to this episode of the Second Turnbuckle Podcast, episode 4. Everybody,
And before
plug.
we go,
Oh, go ahead.
Before we go, I was just going to get to that. Before we go, everyone plug yourself
Yep,
as
that's
best
what I
you
was going
can.
to say. You already got me. You already got it. We're figuring it out. All right, Mr. Guests,
All right.
SockMonkeyMike, plug
really
yourself,
quick,
please.
At
Good sir.
SockMonkeyMike on Instagram and Twitter. SockMonkeyMike on YouTube. That's pretty much it. I don't want to use my 30 seconds.
Yeah, you're all good. Lesned, where can people find you?
You can find me at Lesned312 on Twitter, also on Instagram. I don't post much wrestling on Instagram though. I retweet and like tweets on Twitter, so you'll see a lot of wrestling stuff, wrestling facts, all that stuff. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter for the most part.
Jay?
Right now, my Twitter handle is JEC300.
Right now. If it changes,
Right
you'll
now.
update us?
If it changes, you'll be the first to know.
All right. And then you can find me on Twitter at SullivanDudes2. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and spread this everywhere that you can. We're on Anchor. We're on Spotify. We're looking to distribute to Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts really soon.
We're already there.
Oh, we
beautiful.
are. You got that through?
We're already there. It takes a little while.
Nice. All right, cool. Well,
So
then we're there too. Go ahead and follow everybody that you've heard here, along with the Twitter page for this podcast at Jay. What is it again?
The Twitter page is the OGST Podcast.
All right. And that's going to be all from us here at the Second Turnbuckle Podcast. Stay safe, practice social distancing, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Wash your
wash
ass.
your body, all of it. Brush your teeth, all of it.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Cool.
All right.
All right.